Dear friends, today I'm going to deal with a very interesting and important topic for all of us teachers. It's about life skill, enhancing life skills in schools. And it is very important in the 21st century that teachers enhance the life skills. A life skill includes many things which we will see. And what actually the definition of life skill given by WHO is this. Life skills are abilities that facilitate the physical, mental and emotional well-being of an individual. This is what the WHO's definition is. Now, there are 9 life skills we can identify that all the teachers must develop. You know, there is a Noster's theory, all of us know. Noster's theory says we need to have a vision for success. We need to have skills. We need to have incentives. We need to have resources. We need to have action plan. So these 5 things put together, then there will be success. And now in these 5 aspects which is put by Noster, one of them is skills. And in the skills we take up life skills. And life skills include 9, as I said. The first one is decision making. Decision making is a very important skill. Many of us are called to make decisions in the classrooms, in teachings, in syllabus, in career, in pedagogy, for example. Taking decision is very required for a teacher. And therefore, taking decision making skills must be developed. Second one is we must have creative thinking. A teacher who is creative thinking will enhance the atmosphere of the classroom very positively, and children will like such teachers. And we also have critical thinking capacity must be developed. Skills, in the new education policy 2020 talks elaborately about critical thinking as an essential element of Indian education. I think teachers must be critical thinking people. Another skill, life skill, is called problem solving skills. We need to learn, because life we face many problems in life, and every problem must be addressed positively and found a solution. And that's why a teacher must be capable of problem solving. We also need to have negotiation skills. In life's various situations will arise, and various types of peoples and situations will arise. We need to have the negotiation skill. That's a life skill. Interpersonal relationship, because teachers are dealing with human beings, and therefore interpersonal relationship, as multiple intelligence talks about interpersonal intelligence. I think that intelligence has to be really enhanced, nourished. So interpersonal relationship is a very important thing for life skills for a teacher. Self-awareness is another major aspect. Empathy or deeper compassion is important for a student or for a teacher. Effective communication is unavoidable for a teacher. Whatever we have in our mind must be communicated with people. Therefore, effective ways of communication is also important. Now, what are the framework life skills for teachers? There are 3 areas I think for the teachers can look into. That is thinking skills, social skills and negotiation skills. These are the 3 areas in which all these skills which we have talked can be put into. For example, thinking skills includes self-awareness, problem solving, critical thinking, planning and goal setting. Social skills also. Social skills include interpersonal relationship, I already told you. Communicating effectively is so much part of these social skills. Cooperation and teamwork are very important. Empathy building is cannot be compromised. Empathy building means we need to deal with people in a society with compassion, care, love. That empathy must be there, because we are teachers who are creating children as men and women for others, not for ourselves. Not we are creating the selfish monsters. We need to create people with empathy, sympathy, compassion. And the third major category is negotiation skills. Negotiation skills includes, first of all, within. Managing one's own feelings are very, very important. Saint Ignatius of Loyola will say, when you are in emotion, do not take a decision. Because he knew 500 years ago that emotions colors your decisions and it will not be impartial. Most of the time, our emotional decisions are partial. Therefore, managing feelings are important. Resisting the peer groups or the family pressure or the societal pressure today, because there are structural pressure is on people today. So to resist that, you need to have negotiation skills. And in order to build up consensus, today we all talk about the national level, international level, everywhere we say we need consensus building. And in order to build consensus, we need to have give and take. So that is why the negotiation skills come. It comes under negotiation skills and advocacy skills. Advocacy means we need to propagate what is good, advocate what is good, etc. So it is a skill. Now coming to one aspect, I think it is very, very important for the teachers today is self-awareness. We need to be aware of what are our qualities, what are our weaknesses, what's our limitations, desires, dislikes, likes, strengths, etc. Developing self-awareness can help us to recognize when we are stressed or real under pressure. Different types of pressures are there on us. So we can overcome that one only when we are aware of where we are and what we are supposed to do. It's a prerequisite to effective communication. When I have self-awareness, my communication will be much more effective. I know my self-esteem, my self-acceptance, my weaknesses, my strengths, etc. Actually, what is decision making? Decision making, as I already told you, it is an ability of an individual to assess available options and to foresee the consequences of different decisions. Now, critical thinking is a very, very important thing. Critical thinking is an ability to analyze information that comes to you and experience in an objective manner, not in a subjective manner. I think in India, this is lacking today very much. Critical thinking has to be enhanced. People must be able to make an assessment on the basis of their own intellectual analysis and a kind of proper study, in fact. Make their own informed decisions. Not simply because somebody says and we follow. That is not correct. Critical thinking has to be enhanced. In fact, critical thinking can contribute to health by helping us to recognize and assess the factors that influence attitudes and behavior, such as values, peer pressure, and the media. For example, today media analysis has to be done. We call the media education. Media education is so important today because media can simply take us for a ride unless we know what this media meant by this, what is the purpose, what is their ideology, etc. Along with this critical thinking, we need also creative thinking. Creative thinking is also so important. Creative thinking actually contributes to both decision making and problem solving. Many of us are not creative. We simply follow the beaten path. The hoof marks of the calf. You remember that, no? That story. Sometimes we follow like that without having any creative thinking. What others have done, we follow on. That is not correct. What is problem solving? Problem solving enables us to deal constructively with the problems in our lives. Not destructively, not negatively. Significant problems that are left unresolved can cause mental stress and give rise to accompanying physical strain. After this, the most important thing is interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationship is a skill. Everybody cannot be interpersonal, some are intrapersonal intelligence are there according to multiple intelligence. Now we need to keep interpersonal relationship as teachers. This is very, very important because we are interacting with people. This may mean being able to make and keep friendly relationships, which can be of great importance to our mental and social well-being. I think this has to be cultivated by all the teachers. Empathy is another thing. Empathy is the ability to imagine what life is like for another person, even in a situation that we may not be familiar with. Empathy is a higher value because we will be sensitive to the other person. We say in English, getting into the shoes of the other. Empathy is a higher quality. Empathy can help us to understand and accept others much better way, who may be very different from ourselves, another religion, another culture, other ethnicity, another country maybe. But we can improve our social interactions. For example, in situations of ethnic and cultural diversity, our interpersonal relationship really helps us. And what is another important thing is effective communication, which I mentioned to you. Effective communication means that we are able to express ourselves both verbally and non-verbally, as all of us know. Communication happens not only verbally. Non-verbal communication is so important today. And therefore, effective communication is important. The one who is able to communicate expresses one's opinions and desires, but also needs and fears. And it may mean being able to ask for advice and help in a time of need. There's freedom of expression, we can say. Freedom of expression. Is there freedom of expression? A lot of questions are coming. Is there freedom of expression? Idi Amin was once asked, "Sir, in your country, people are saying that there is no freedom of expression." Idi Amin said, "Who says there is freedom of expression in my country? But don't ask me about freedom after expression." Sometimes this happens, We can express something, but the consequences will be very, very dangerous. In many places, it is happening now. Now, one of the qualities of enhancing the life skill is to manage one's own feelings and emotions. Managing feelings and emotions includes skills for increasing internal locus of control for managing emotions, anger, and stress. This may mean that we take action to reduce the sources of stress, for example, by making changes to our physical environment or lifestyle. Or it may mean learning how to relax so that tensions created by unavoidable stress do not give rise to health problems. We need to learn many things, how to control our emotions and feelings. Once we are able to control ourselves, we will understand others also. Now, in order to have emotional control, etc., we need to have self-esteem. Self-esteem is a very, very important thing for every individual, especially teachers. Self-esteem is actually, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is a person feels about himself or herself. How high or how low or how realistically am I thinking about myself? That is called self-esteem. Knowing oneself and feeling good about oneself is an important aspect of the process of growing up. And therefore, self-esteem is a very, very low self-esteem. Suppose those who have low self-esteem due to various reasons, especially among the poor, the young, sometimes of women, etc., young girls, etc., often results to a variety of problems of difficulties. Therefore, it's important that adolescents should be helped in improving their self-esteem. That is why they say adolescence period is a time of stress and tension. It is our duty as elders to respect them, to understand them, to revere them. And another important aspect is we need to think about all these life skills and develop an out-of-box thinking. Thinking out of box can often find a solution to a seemingly difficult problem in our lives. In every situation of life, we use some skills. By critical thinking, we can analyze and the pros and cons of the situation. Now, coming to actually, when we talk about effective or effective life enhancement, life skill enhancement, etc., what is effective? Effective means having an effect, producing a result. The teachers who are effective produce student learning, growth, and achievement. Learning means acquiring basic knowledge and skills. Growth means showing acquired progress over time. That means a child every year there should be a continuous progress in the child's development. Achievement means demonstrating an act of accomplishment or attainment. These three characteristics of an effective teacher is, therefore, they are extremely good at classroom management. If they are good at classroom managers, that means they are good teachers. They know how to teach a lesson for student learning and mastery. They also have positive expectations for student success. They are patient. They know that we are dealing with children. They are dealing with children, and they need to be patient. Now, the better trained you are as a teacher, the more skills you will have affecting growth and development in the students. Now, it's very interesting to know, there is a saying, on an old adage is this: if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you only have hammer, everything, wherever you see something, it's a nail, so you will be going on hitting it. This is an image many of us may be carrying. That if only classroom teaching strategy is traditional lecturing, that is the teaching tool that you are likely to use in the classroom situations. For example, now the earlier method of teaching was limited to chalk, board and talk method. Now that's only people knew, and now we know during the pandemic period, online classes or technological classes, etc. started, and many of us are finding it extremely difficult to adapt or change, to learn, etc. Why? Because we have only one hammer at hand. If on the other hand, you all have more tools in your toolbox, you will have the opportunity to choose the most appropriate tool for the task at hand. That means teaching. And therefore, very important aspect is to develop a proper communication skill. The teacher uses knowledge of effective verbal, non-verbal, media and technological communication techniques to foster active inquiry, collaboration and supportive interaction in the classroom. Much of teaching is about sending and receiving messages. All of us know, when we transmit a message effectively and the receiver takes it and reflect over it, teaching takes place. And therefore our duty is to create that kind of investigative, curiosity building, collaborative education. That's what we need to give. Share ideas, yes, but let them take it forward. Therefore, our intentional consideration plannings are very, very important in teaching. Clarity, enthusiasm and sensitivity, etc. will come only when we have that intentional teaching, communication. Effective teachers consistently use active listening skill as well. It's not only simply speaking. The person must be ready to listen in the classroom, listen to the students. And listening also is very, very important in the sense we need to have utter sensitivity to the people and must be able to learn the non-verbal languages. Listen to the non-verbal communication. Effective teachers are also recognize the increasing importance of technology as a tool for student learning and as a major communication resource and development. Today in 21st century, and all the more after the pandemic, the post-pandemic education cannot be the old one. It has to change, and in that change we need to utilize technology as best as possible. They say the communication skills for teachers is generally considered like this: 50% of knowledge and 50% of teaching is interpersonal communication skills. How do you communicate? How effectively you communicate? What's your change of tone, and etc. etc. What consists of this communication skill will make the impact on teachers. Therefore, I conclude with 6 important points for a good communication. Number 1 is positive motivation. Every teacher must have positive motivation, and also if you have positive motivation, you will create interest, enthusiasm, remove fear and inhibition in your students. Second is effective body language. Gestures, body movements with verbal skills are very, very important for a good teacher. Sense of humor. See, sometimes people think that humor means crack any joke. No. Sense of humor means sense of wit. You must be a witty person. And fourth point is understanding the students. A good teacher or excellent teacher always understands their students. Such teachers will always prefer a dialogue instead of a monologue. Listen to the students' opinion as well. The fifth point is teamwork. Teamwork helps in mutual understanding between students as well as teacher. And today they say no, teamwork works. And finally, technical skills are very, very important for a teacher today. This will make you up to date with the latest techno tools for teaching. One of the most neglected aspects of a teacher training today is lack of proper communication. And therefore, a professional approach must be done for giving better communication techniques to our children. Why it's so important? Because teaching is based on communication. And a teacher who communicates effectively with his or her students is a great teacher. So communication is unavoidable. Verbal or non-verbal transmission, an understanding of information, feelings and emotions among human beings. Instructional communication is the process by which teachers and students stimulate meanings in the minds of each other using verbal and non-verbal messages. In education today, communication is essential because in order to understand the roles and assignments, communication is important. The management, the authorities, teachers, staff, everybody must be communicating well. And it also helps us to plan out things, especially on learning activities. It also is important because in order to coordinate the entire work with students and teachers. And it also helps to provide information to the teachers on student progress and behaviors, etc. Communication is so important. And finally, building a positive relationship with the students, teachers and other staff, there is no other way other than communication. So communication is very, very important, and each aspect we can take it for a better reflections. But one of the thing is people who are effectively communicating will have less personal bias and they will be more attuned with the students, and they will be very, very effectively engaging their classes. That means students will be engaged effectively. They will use visual aids. They will talk also. They will be listening also. Communicating positively with the parents. Listening to parents, listening disabled children, etc., etc., will happen to such teachers. Therefore, we have heard about these learning styles, no? In every teacher, every child, there are three types of children. For example, these three types of learning styles we all have. That is all of us familiar, I hope so. Auditory learner is there, visual learner is there, and kinesthetic learner is there. Auditory learner is a learning style in which person learns through listening, visual by seeing, and kinesthetic by acting. So this is later on much more developed by multiple intelligence, the theory. Beautiful. So my dear teachers, when we are in the class, we hope that we are all teachers of tomorrow. Make a difference to somebody's life by being an effective learner and effective teacher. I think the modern education, 21st century education, badly needs good teachers, critical thinkers, innovative thinkers, creative thinkers, best communicators, etc. And I think that is what teachers we are all going to look at ourselves and helping one another in our education endeavor. Enhance your life skills. Be better teachers for your students. Thank you very much, and God bless each of you.